SQR Rosenberg Podcast on another wonderful night. We're coming in straight from the lab, SQR Podcast. Check us out on SoundCloud. Check us out on the YouTube channel, SQR Podcast. Our website is booming. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're doing something epic and classic as we get ready to marinate with one of my guests tonight. But you know how I always start the show. I go back. Thank you for tuning in last week, checking out the show that we posted. Always remember to subscribe. And tonight, we do things normally the same way. Big shout out to Manny behind the camera, holding us down. Thank you so much for being here, bro. We're going to go in solo tonight on the staff. So right now, we're just going to jump right into our guest. And tonight, I am honored and blessed to have Bonnie Thomas in the house tonight. Thank you so much, Bonnie, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It is a complete blessing and honor to be in your presence right now.
Thank you.
Before I even begin to jump into who you are and what you do, could you please let my viewers and listeners know who you are and what you do?
Okay. Good evening, everyone, on this beautiful night.
It is a gorgeous night, though, right?
For it to be September.
Yes. Feels like Montego Bay.
Yes, even though I've never been.
Oh, you need to go.
But I will.
But we're going to talk about that a little bit later.
Yes. My name is Bonnie Thomas. I come to you from Paterson.
Big up to Paterson. This is where we're broadcasting from right now.
And what I do for a living now is I am the operational manager of a school bus company.
Okay, big.
What I used to do in the past was accounts payable for a hospital for like over 20-something years.
A lot of history there. I can't wait to get into those stories.
Yes, a lot of history. So I did a career change.
Okay.
I mean, it's almost the same thing as working in a hospital with different people. It's just that you're working with children and you're working with parents.
I'm sure in the hospital you were dealing with some big children, right?
Yes, as always. And you're working with children and their parents, and you have to realize that is precious cargo. So they're gonna be very protective, overprotective about their precious cargo.
I can't wait to hear some of those stories. However, the main reason my guest is here tonight and is here to share her story is because Bonnie has done a complete transformation and is a living testament of a physical, mental, and a spiritual transformation, which has kind of pioneered this new walk that you're taking. Yes.
Even though I walk by faith and not by light, but this is a new walk, a new path for me. I can't even say it's a new chapter. It's a whole new book.
I can't wait to jump into that. So here, SQR Podcast, my guest Bonnie Thomas, she's really transformed herself physically, and as a result of that, exposed and learned so many things. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to jump into this podcast, and I want to give a big shout out to that camera alarm going off in the background. Yo, the Paterson ad-libs are always so on point. You know, if it's not that, it's the cops, it's the fire trucks. It's unbelievable. But
that's life.
That is life.
What would it be like if you had nothing but pure silence in the background? That's life.
Yes.
Living.
Wow. SQR Rosenberg Podcast. She's just dropping jewels right out the bat. We haven't even started yet. No, that was so profound, because then you wouldn't appreciate the silence, because now that the car alarm is off,
right,
we appreciate this.
Right.
Wow. SQR Rosenberg Podcast. Bonnie Thomas. Let's jump into this. You're from New Jersey.
Yes, I am.
Born and grown?
Yes.
Raised in Paterson?
Yes. I was born in Englewood, New Jersey. I came to Paterson when I was 2.
Okay.
My father passed away when I was 2. My mom was a single mom with 4 kids, moved to Paterson, and she raised 4 kids, and then she had another one, and my stepfather came into my life when I was about 5.
Let me ask you this. What was the dynamic like? Because when your father passed away, and my condolences on that.
Yes.
Do you remember that time?
I have no recollection of my father. I only have pictures of him from my sisters and my brother. I have no recollection of my father at all.
And in the age group of kids that were in the family, you were number 2nd, 3rd?
I was the 4th. I was the baby at the time.
Oh, okay.
I have an older sister. Well, God bless her. She passed away in 2011 to cancer.
What's her name?
Sherry.
R.I.P. to Sherry.
And rest in peace. She was like a second mother. When Mom wasn't there,
Sherry ran the
was there.
ship. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I have a next to your older sister, Tony, who lives in Florida, and a brother who lives in Florida.
Okay, nice.
And a younger sister who lives here in Paterson, which we share an apartment together.
Oh, wow. So the dynamic growing up with Dad being out of the picture, what I've heard so far is there was a lot of support from the other siblings.
Yes.
Especially being the baby.
Yes.
Wow. And as you grow through elementary school and high school, what was that like? You still had a squad with you to go, handle stuff?
Yes, I did. I was more of a bookworm. I was very quiet. I was into my books. I was more like a nerd, but a tomboy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I got along better with the guys than I did with the females.
Okay.
And I grew up being a tomboy, playing football, street football, and basketball, and baseball. I was just out there, but I was more of a bookworm.
Do you remember the first book you read or were intrigued by?
I have to say I was intrigued. It was Edgar Allan Poe.
Wow.
Yes, I was intrigued by his poems. And in high school, that was one of my classes, and I always really got into it and was able to explain what he was speaking about in his poems. I went through school 4.0, so
nice.
that's why I said I was nerd.
That's big.
I even went to college, but I did not finish college. But I was on the dean's list and everything, but I didn't get a chance to finish because we moved to Tucson, Arizona.
Wow, that's a big change.
Yes, that was a big change from
the East Coast life to the what? What was that like?
That was very different.
What age was that, by the way?
I was in my 20s. I was like 20.
Oh wow,
21.
so you were wow. What was that like living in Tucson?
It was different.
Were the guys all over you because you're from the East Coast, from New York?
No, not really. I did have one older guy who wanted to take me home with him, so I was like, no. I was out at a club with a couple of friends, but I didn't stay long because I didn't give it a chance, because where we lived at was like right across the street was the desert. We lived in a complex with a pool and everything, but right across the street,
no scenery.
it was a beautiful scenery. Maybe if I would have gave it a chance, maybe I would still be there. But after a month, I came back to live with my sister in East Orange. And then I decided, okay, I need a job quick, so I'll go to business school. I went to business school for a year and a half, graduated with honors. 4.0, was
Congratulations.
president. Thank you. Was president of the newspaper and stuff like that. So I really got into it. I graduated, and by the time, next thing I know, I had a job.
Wow.
My first job it wasn't my first job, but first job as a computerized accountant was CareFi. 1992.
Oh, big shout out. Nice.
Yes. And I stayed there for a while until they relocated to Milwaukee.
Okay. So during this whole transition, it seems as if you traveled around domestically. Have you left the country at all?
No, I've never left the United States at all.
Wow.
I don't even own a passport.
Ooh, we're going to fix that before it's all over here, so you can get out and check out the rest of the world.
Yes.
However, everything with the family, mom, everything's moving. They're holding down the fort here while you're there. Were they with you in Tucson?
Yes, my mom relocated to Tucson because my brother was out there.
Okay.
And
did they like the whole setting or no?
They stayed out there for like a year, maybe 2 years. They liked it. And then my mom wanted to come back because of my grandmother.
Okay.
She wanted to be closer to my grandmother, which my grandmother passed in 2008 at the age of 101.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, what's her name?
Margaret Jackson.
Margaret Jackson, 101, setting records out here. Do you know what she did could you... Let me ask you this, and I always love to ask my guests this. Now that we've kind of went through that whole, first stage of your life, was there one thing or an experience that you can look back on now and go, wow, that propelled me to be who I am, or I wanted to emulate that person, or I didn't want to do that? Was there one thing that goes, I want to do what I'm doing right now, which is being confident enough to go through the transformation you are going to tell us about next, taking on the jobs you've taken on, dealing with life's curveball up till 20.
Yes,
Is there one person or one experience that you've
I would have to say my experience is my mother and my grandmother. The strong women they were. And my mom always told me, I always said, Mom, I want to be just like you. And she was like, no, you want to be better. So I always kept that in me to say, I'm going to do better.
Wow.
And when you know, you do better.
SQR Rosenberg Podcast, a jewel that will take you through life. Could you say that again, please?
When you know better, you do better.
That's all we have to do. It's so organic. It's so simple.
That's it. And she always said that to me. She said, no, you don't want to be like me. You want to be better. And that's what I took through my whole life. You know, watching my grandmother and my mom be a single parent up until, you know, till my stepfather came in. And then when my stepfather came in my life, he opened my eyes to a lot of responsibility. And he was that male role model in my life that I never had beside my brother.
True.
You know, me and my brother are 7 years apart. He's 7 years older than me.
Was your stepdad accepted by everybody when he came into the picture?
Yes, he was.
That's big.
He was very accepted. Matter of fact, my little sister, that's her father.
Wow.
You know, so my mom had 5 kids altogether. But I was the baby for a long time.
Wow.
But he came in my life and he showed me what a male role model is. Because I didn't have that. My father passed when I was 2.
Yeah. Wow, that's very fascinating. SQR Rosenberg Podcast, Bonnie Thomas. We're just beginning to crack the outer shell of this egg that we're going to get into. And I'm telling you, the yolk is going to be ridiculous. So as we get ready to take this quick break, we're going to come back. I want to hear the story from the transition from 20 on. Okay. I want to hear some of those pitfalls, some of the guys that came into the picture. You know, were they worthy of your stepfather's level that he had set? You know, so as we take a quick break, SQR Rosenberg Podcast, Bonnie Thomas. We'll be back after these messages. 1. Rosenberg coming back with my guest on this gorgeous Jamaica feeling night here, rocking out to that Mary J. Blige, which is available on our SoundCloud, SQR Rosenberg Radio. Don't get it twisted. Go get that. There's a lot of mixes up there. All our SoundClouds available right there. However, tonight, Bonnie, as we continue the powwow, fascinated by everything that you experienced, and we left off where we gave major props to your grandmother. 101.
Yes.
101. Don't get it twisted. This lady did something right in her life.
Yes, she did.
To be blessed with those many years.
Has to be the Indian, the native Indian blood. I'm part native Indian. I'm Black, Indian, and Irish. So
what?
My grandmother was Indian. My great-grandmother was Irish.
Wow. Okay, get it, because you're very beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do get it. So as we get ready to jump into segment 2 of the episode, that's Bonnie. What was your, as you grew into college? I'm pretty sure guys were knocking at your door all day. What was that like? What was that like?
It was, guys are gonna be guys. They're gonna hit on you. But my thing was always they're after something. So my vision was I need to get to A, then I can worry about B. When I say get to A, that means my schooling, my education, get a job.
Prioritize.
Make sure I can take care of me before I start venturing into a relationship.
Why because that's not the stereotypical thing that happens. You know that, right?
Right.
The stereotypical thing is, let me find a guy to take care of me. Then you're becoming dependent on this guy.
And see,
not a lot of women go and really build their foundation. So what created that?
That my mom and my grandmother created that. My mother was very independent, and she taught us to be very independent.
How many girls in the family?
4.
What?
The boy is in the middle. He was the meat to the sandwich.
Yeah, wow.
But my mom always taught us independence. Don't wait for a man to do something. If you need to screw in a light bulb, go. Get a light bulb, get a ladder, get up there and screw. You need to move furniture, move it. Don't wait. Be independent.
Yeah.
So going through life, I feel like being independent, that caused a lot of guys to feel intimidated by me, because I can support myself. I can do things for myself. You know, I don't have no shame in getting my hands dirty.
That's big.
You know, taking out the garbage or whatever. I don't have a problem with that, because that's what I was taught and bred it, to be independent, not to sit around and wait for a man to do it for me.
So as you're going through and you're meeting all these guys through college and getting, when did your husband come into the picture?
Well, there's no husband, but you might as well say I was with my son's father for 13 years.
Oh, wow.
Right, before we ended it. But within that 13 years, my one and only, my life, my everything, my son came out of that.
Okay.
We were together like 5-6 years before my son came out, because I thought about it. I wanted to be ready to have a child.
On your terms.
I wanted to be financially ready. I didn't want to have to depend on the system. I didn't want to have to depend on his father. If I wanted to go out and buy him something, I brought it.
Understood.
So it was like 6 years before I had him. And then, 5 years, and then we got engaged a year after he was born. And then,
do you remember when you met your baby's father?
Yes, I met him. This is not a love story, but we met in Bradley's. I was working there seasonal.
It had to be a love story at some point.
And he was working there, and we just started conversating. And one night, while I was living in Passaic at the time, because my mom and them had came back from Arizona, and she moved to Passaic because that's where my grandmother lived. And we was living in Passaic at the time, and we sat outside. He dropped me off, gave me a ride home, and we sat outside just talking, communicating with each other till we broke dawn.
What? Outside?
Outside in the car, just sitting there conversating.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Wow, that's a big connection right there.
Sexual or anything.
That's big.
It was like getting to know each other. And that's one thing about a relationship that I feel everyone should do, is get to know each other.
SQR Rosenberg Podcast, dropping jewels again. At the point is, we run so quickly past that stage.
Right.
Our society tells us, have sex, then go and get to know this person.
Right.
But you're right. Thank you for saying that. Continue.
That's an important part. Even though communication is important, but getting to know that person in a relationship is important to me.
So now you guys are together. You're moving forward. You have your son, and your son's name is?
Parrish.
What a powerful name.
Yes.
Yeah, big shout out to Parrish. And that really solidified your movement, because now you're, happy to be. What happened?
To tell you the truth, I had no desire to have kids. But God blessed me with a son, and that's my one and only. And I chose not to have anymore. It's not that I can't have anymore. I chose not to have anymore because the fact of financially, I know what I can afford.
That's big.
So I chose not to have anymore. Some people may say that that's selfish because of the fact that he doesn't have any siblings. But let me tell you, he has a lot of cousins that can be his siblings. You know what I'm saying?
Make that work.
And I said to myself, if I didn't have another one between the time that he was 1 through 5, I wasn't going to have any more, because I don't want him to be 5 years old and having a sibling, because I went through that with my sister.
Mm-hmm.
My sister and I were 5 years apart. We had nothing in common when we were younger. But as we got older, yes, we got closer. But younger, no, we had nothing in common. I didn't want to hang around her. She didn't want to hang around me. Yeah. Why would I want my little sister hanging around me when I'm 15 and she's
doing
10?
Grown stuff?
Right.
as you transition into the mom thing, it seems as if you embrace that role.
Yes.
I know that as you were going through with the relationship, you said there was a point when the relationship ended.
Yes.
And the reason why I'm poking at this balloon, if you don't, for a better description, is I want to understand, when did you, because you showed us some photos earlier, which we're going to be able to show. And there was a photo with you and your son. I don't remember what age that was when you took that photo, but that was a photo when...
That was back in 2012.
So, okay, in that photo, you were on the heavier side.
Yes.
And when did the weight gain and that change started happening, if you don't mind me asking?
The weight change started happening, like, I would have to say...
Was it during the marriage?
No, way much after. It was like 2015, 2016. That's when, I think 2015 was when I was diagnosed as pre-diabetic.
But before that, you weren't?
No.
So during the marriage, after the marriage, everything was cush?
Yes.
You were still the same weight?
Right. I got comfortable and content because after I had my son, I gained all the weight. So I got comfortable and content, like, this is it. This is what it's going to be.
Okay.
So I was diagnosed as pre-diabetic because I was having symptoms of being tired. I wake up tired. I go to bed tired. I just have no energy. I'm thirsty. Going to the bathroom, peeing all the time. So those were symptoms because I listened to my body.
Okay.
So I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, those are symptoms of diabetes, but you're pre. Your glucose is not low enough or not high enough, so you're in the middle. So he told me it's up to me to make the decision. He said you can either keep it under control or go over that line and become diabetic and have to take medication.
Yeah.
So I was struggling with it, losing the weight.
What did you do? Let's get real with it. When you say you were struggling, what did you do? Oh, before you even answer that question, let's go back to this question. Because you were content with where you were and with the weight that you've gained after the baby. Mm-hmm. And as your son is growing, he's now 7, 8, you were saying, you know what, I'm good. Maybe this is how it is going to be. Was there any diet change at all? Or you were just still eating the same?
I was still eating the same. I was trying to eat healthy, like cook healthy for the family. You know what I'm saying? But working long hours and being on the run, you tend to, you can't eat healthy. You got to eat the whatever's out available for you. So that
fast food.
I couldn't figure that out. Fast food. But then after a while, after last year, for some reason, my sugar spiked.
So we're talking about a difference from being pre-diabetic in 2012 to 2016.
No, I was pre-diabetic in 2015. See, I was not diabetic. I just gained weight in 2012. After I had my son, I just gained the weight. And the picture that I showed you was 2012, that I was heavy. I was heavy up until 2015.
Let's be
2016.
Let's be specific so people can understand what heavy means. What were you before the baby? What were you after the baby in 2012?
Before the baby, I have to say I was probably like 145, 150. I was always tiny, petite. I'm only 5'2".
Okay.
So I was always tiny and petite. My baby sister, when I was in college, I weighed 110. She weighed 115. She's always been bigger than me.
Okay.
So I always stayed in the ones, 145, 150. I was always petite. Then after I had Parrish, I gained weight, and then I had to go through some surgeries, which, once you go through surgery, you can't work out for a period of time. True. Because you have to heal inside as well as outside. Your outside heals faster than your inside, so your insides take longer. So you're told you can't do strenuous workouts, so boom, there it is. So by 2015, I was 225 pounds.
Wow.
I said, you know what? My knees hurt, my back hurt, my ankles hurt. Bonnie, you got to do something.
It really hurt.
Yeah, like getting out of bed, walking, and all of a sudden you're walking and your knees start hurting. I'm too young for that, you know?
Yeah.
I shouldn't be having knee pain unless I played sports. Okay.
Yeah. So now 225. You found out did you ever get into diabetic range?
Yes. 2016, my sugar spiked. I had started, I think, a new job, and stress can trigger your sugar to spike. My sugar was 592.
What does that mean?
That's very high. You're supposed to be like 140, in the 100 to 140. It was 592. I knock on wood, you know. God is good all the time.
He's great.
He's awesome. I could have went into a stroke, a coma, lost my eyesight, but I didn't. I didn't feel nothing. But my sister seen that I was sluggish, like I was slurring my words, my color wasn't there. So her and my cousin took me to the hospital. It was 592.
What?
Yes, they kept me in there for a couple of hours. They got it down to 292. And that's when I had to go on medication. Not insulin, but 1,000 milligrams of Metafor.
Wow.
But before that, I was working out with a trainer 5 days a week.
At 225?
Right. I was starting to drop weight by working out every day with a trainer and eating right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, change my whole eating habit. Like, I had to stop eating the fast foods and just eat the salads and the chicken.
Clean.
And, you know, just clean. Water. I never drank water like I drink it now. I can drink gallons of water now, but before I never drank
What
it.
did you drink before? A soda?
Soda, juice, whatever was sweet. Now it's like my body don't even want that. If I have a soda, it don't even taste right. I want the water.
Complete change.
Right. And that's a mental change too. You have to mentally change and focus in on the weight loss and what you have to do, because your mind will start playing tricks on you. Your mind will start saying you're hungry when you're not hungry.
Mm-hmm.
So when it does that, I'll drink some water. That fills you. You know what I'm saying? And eat a snack. I had to go from eating no meals a day, because I would literally not eat until I was hungry. Then I would eat 3 big meals a day or late at night. But I had to change. I had to listen to my nutritionist who said, eat 6 small meals a day. Portion your food. Eat breakfast, eat a snack. Eat lunch, eat a snack. Eat dinner, eat a snack. That way you're always eating. Your metabolism is burning.
Mm.
So that's what I did. But I had to change mentally.
Do you remember what or when the light bulb or that mental change kicked in? Was it being in the hospital? Was it that experience?
Yes, it was. It was being in the hospital and thinking back. I lost my mother in 2008 to the Lou Gehrig's.
Oh, wow. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Right. My mom passed away of that in 2008. And then 6 months later, my grandmother died of natural causes at 101. But I went through that transformation with my mother because she found out she was diabetic at 52 and she had to go straight onto insulin. So I had to take that journey and that walk with my mother.
So you already know.
Right. I had to go on a diet with her because it was like being with a teenager. I was the mother and she was the teenager. I'm sitting there eating chicken and she's fried chicken and she's like, what? Why are you eating that in front of me? You know I can't eat it. So I had to drink the diet soda with her. I had to eat the meals with her, like go on a diet with her.
Wow.
So when it came time for me, I knew.
Oh, because you already kind of...
I already experienced it. But your mind plays a lot of tricks on you. And you want to do the right things, but your mind will say, you want that soda over there. Aren't you hungry for a cheeseburger? You hear that little voice in your head. So you have to become strong mentally to say, no, I'm not going to have a cheeseburger. I'm going to get up every morning. I'm going to go. It's a struggle, but it pays off in the end.
I can see that. SQR Rosenberg Podcast, I appreciate how detailed you've been on that journey. And I love to ask, what's that mark, that created that? And being in a hospital was definitely that tipping point. in your life, and the fact that you've already laid some of the groundwork with your mom.
Right.
It seems to be somewhat of a natural shift to do what was needed.
Right. I had all the tools.
You just weren't applying.
I wasn't applying them.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. And when we come back, we're going to pick up where we went from 225 down. I want to hear that journey going down. And I want to hear the mental strength that you've now cultivated as you were taking that journey down with the weight. And I'm dying to hear the spiritual journey that accompanied that walk. SQR Rosenberg Podcast, Bonnie Thomas, a physical, mental transformation here on our podcast tonight, ladies and gentlemen. One. SQR Rosenberg Podcast, your boy coming back with Bonnie Thomas as we enjoy this walk through her life to where she's now making that that life needed transformation.
Yes.
Not only did you know what you needed to do, you weren't doing it consistently.
Right.
Until we have that hospital experience at 225 pounds, now diabetic.
Yes.
Light bulb goes off. What's your next step?
My next step is to learn how to eat right. Train my mind to eat right, think healthy, and to get, my goal was to get out the 200 mark.
Okay, I like that. Let me ask you this. What were two physical things you did?
Two physical things I did? Two physical things I did was to start to get up, get off my ass and on my feet, and start working out. I got a trainer. I didn't go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I got a trainer. He took me to Eastside Park, and he worked me. Walked me around that park, ran me up and down them steps.
How were your knees at that time?
They were bad, but this was something I needed to do. So I went through the pain. I did the squats, the sit-ups, the pull-ups, everything. And it was all within an hour and a half. It seemed like it was 5 hours.
Shitting a brick.
And I gave him hell.
Yeah.
You could best believe. I
fought
gave
him all the way.
Yes, I did. Tooth and nail, scratching, kicking, and screaming. But
did you ever throw up at any point?
No, I didn't throw up, but I did get overheated. I mean, I thought I could never sweat, but Lord, did I sweat. And he was the type of person that he stayed on me. He was like, I don't care. You may think I'm an MFer, but come on, let's go do this. He was like a drill sergeant. When you're trying to lose weight, that's what you need. You have to have that militant mindset. You have to have somebody that's not going to give up on you. That like say, okay, you take a break. No, you could take a break a second. Let's go. Get back up. Let's go.
Keep the heart rate up. Keep it moving.
Keep it moving. You ain't fight through the pain. That's how he was.
And you fought through the pain.
Yes, I fought through the pain because you know what? This is what I needed. I wanted this because I knew that I needed to lose the weight. And it was a challenge that I accepted, and I was going to get through it. I was going to prove that I was going to lose this weight to myself.
That's big. SQR Rosenberg Podcast. You snuck that jewel by me, but I felt it. That's why I closed my eyes. Because, we go through life, and there are certain challenges that come our way, And because we don't have the right mindset of saying, I'm going to accept this challenge.
Right. And we always need somebody else's moral support. You're your biggest fan. You should give yourself moral
SQR
support.
Rosenberg Podcast. Not a jewel snuck out the back right there. You are your biggest fan. You got to stand up in your corner.
Yes. You have to talk to yourself. It may sound crazy, but you have to talk to yourself. There are people that'll give you moral support, but are they really giving you the support that you really need?
No.
Do they understand
No.
how you feel,
No.
what you're going through, where you coming from?
No.
They don't. The only person that understands you is yourself. So you have to turn to yourself and say to yourself, self, is this what I want? And if it is, you got to go for it. You have to become your biggest fan. Mm-hmm. You have to be your own cheerleader. And
SQR Rosenberg Radio. Listen to the jewels that are coming out at rapid fire. I don't want to stop her because I know, because you're actually talking to me right now, which is what I love. You know what I mean? And the way I know the God that I worship works,
yes,
is He speaks through you.
Yes.
Because this is what I needed to hear. Because I'm going through a movement right now where, you know, I have to remind myself, you got this.
Yes. Yes. And there were times that it got hard, and, you know, the only person you could go to is Him. And you got to say, you know what? God got this.
And He does. And
He got it. And He don't put no more on you than you can handle.
Wow. Wow. A profound biblical jewel that's being dropped. So as you awaken, not only mentally and spiritually, what was it like when you realized that you were now below 200?
Oh, I mean, I couldn't believe it. I mean, my sisters still to this day say, would you stop thinking you're fat? Because I look at myself and I'm like, oh my God, I need to. She's like, what you talking about a girdle for? You don't need it. You don't have no stomach. You small. But when I first started realizing it was when I went to put on my clothes and I could not fit them, and I had to go out and buy a whole new wardrobe, and gave away about 8 to 12 bags worth of clothes that made someone very happy. Okay?
Yeah.
But it made me sad because it was all my clothes. But then again, I had fun shopping again and realizing that I can fit into sizes that I didn't fit into
before.
When I was in college.
So that started a feeling of reward.
Motivation.
Yeah.
That motivated me to see that, wow, I did this. I could do it. Now I got people telling me stop losing weight. I said, I'm not trying. I'm not losing anymore. It's just that the fact that my stomach shrunk. They say, you know, people don't realize if you cut back on a lot of things and cut back on eating, your stomach do shrink. You can't eat as much as you used to. I mean, it's to the point where people thought I had surgery. I can't afford surgery.
Yo, look in the camera and let them know that the change.
I did not have surgery. You
Bong.
do not have to have surgery. You do not have to go under the knife. You can do this. You just have to motivate yourself and become your biggest fan, just like you have your football.
But let me ask you this. As everybody's saying, yeah, she's talking all this. Let me poke at this and say, did you have moments where you slipped, fell, or was like, dude, I don't think I can do this? Did you ever have any of those moments?
Yes, I'm human. You go through that. You go through the denial, the regret. Like, what am I doing this for? Am I doing it to prove to everybody that I can do this, or am I proving it to myself? And at the end of the day, I'm proving it to myself because I don't have to prove anything to no one.
SQR Rosenberg Podcast. If you want to get the stress out of your life, apply this jewel. Could you drop that again, please?
I don't have to prove anything to anyone but myself. That's the important person, me. It may sound selfish, but it's the truth.
Bong.
At the end of the day, all that matters is me.
Bong. Bonnie Thomas, just dropping the classic jewels that I love. So you're going through this transition. You're losing the weight. You're now below 200.
Yes.
Right? You're now inspired. what did you do to continue getting to, because right now you're currently, as of today's date,
Yes.
what is your current weight?
My current weight is 157.
Can we salute to that?
Yeah.
Wow. Big shout out.
68 pounds.
Stay focused, ladies and gentlemen.
68 pounds.
68 pounds.
Yes.
Over how long of a period?
About a year.
I love that. You know why I asked that question?
You have to give yourself a timeline.
Not even that, but in today's world, it's all about a quick fix.
Yes.
Take this pill, drink this juice, do this. No, I asked that question because I wanted to hear that it took you that time.
And the whole thing about it is I was on medication, but I didn't take it because I'm more of a naturalist. I don't like to take medication because
Welcome to the club.
You take medication, it helps one thing, but the side effects, bleeding
Oh, you've
stomach
seen those commercials,
like,
right?
Why would I take it?
You have antidepressant. It's crazy.
Then I think back to the days back in the day when there was no advanced technology and all this medication.
You see, I'm coming from Jamaica, so it's
what did our ancestors and
boil some
forefathers
bush,
and our
keep it moving.
grandparents did?
Yeah.
They did the old time remedy.
Yeah.
And they were more healthier back then than they are now.
Look at the Chinese culture. Look at the Asian culture where they keep that whole, natural, organic, the medicine.
Right.
So I completely understand. And I salute you because in today's society where it's a pill.
And it is.
And you were on medication that you refused to take.
I was on 1,000 milligrams, and then after I got down the weight, he cut it down to 500 milligrams. But I take it whenever I want because I listen to my body. If I feel that my sugar is going up, I know that because you get tired. You wake up tired. So you get sluggish. So then it's like, okay, I can take the pill. But if my numbers is high, there's a remedy. Garlic, peanut butter, and lemon juice. You take it every morning on an empty stomach, and that brings your sugar down like that.
Wow. Why don't you drop those ingredients again slowly? What would you have?
Garlic, peanut butter, and lemon juice every morning on an empty stomach, and that drops your sugar.
All right. So how do you do that? Do you put it on a toast? How do you?
No, you eat a garlic clove with peanut butter.
Yeah.
Chew it up and eat it, and take the
Garlic
lemon
is
juice.
nasty.
It's gonna be nasty, but then you wash it back with the lemon juice. But
With something
helps.
nastier.
Yes, but it helps. I mean, at first when I tried it, I was like, "Oh my God, this is disgusting." But think of it this way: I'd rather take the natural stuff that's nasty than to take medicine that's nasty.
And what does that concoction do to your stomach?
It helps drop the sugar. It helps bring your sugar, your glucose down on an empty stomach every morning. And I did that for 3 days? My sugar was like, one time my sugar wouldn't even read on my meter. That's how high it was. I did that for 3 days, and it was down to 104.
Wow.
So there are natural remedies that you can do without harming your body.
Of course, we live in a capitalist society, so we need the pharmaceutical guy to be selling you these pills with those side effects so he can sell you more pills to pay for the summer house in the Hamptons. I understand exactly how that works.
Right.
So, we're not going to support that here on SQR Podcast because what I love is the average human being is out there can make these changes.
Yes, they can.
And I love the fact that you've taken me through this walk of the physical, that light bulb going off, that change that needed to happen. Then we spoke about the mental, digging in within yourself to find that strength to implement that. And then you get the reward when you see the results.
Yes.
Spiritually, what has that journey been like for you?
Spiritually?
I'm Jamaican, so I did extra twisting night.
Well, in the beginning it was hell, but now I feel like I would have to say, and people may not like this, I feel like when Jesus walked on water.
SQR Rosenberg Podcast. Let me just let you guys digest this real quickly. Here's a young lady who has taken on a complete mindset, mental change. And I'm going to repeat what I asked her. What was the spiritual journey like And her answer was,
It was like hell in the beginning, but now I feel like Jesus when he walked on water.
wow. And the reason why I had to slow that down is, guess what? We all have that ability.
Yes. I feel like what he went through for me, for all of us, cannot measure what my weight loss and stuff is. So I know if he went through that and he held up and he was that strong, I can do it too.
True. Wow. SQR Rosenberg Podcast. I was fascinated to have you on the show just for this reason. Because everybody goes, well, why am I listening to Bonnie Thomas? Who's Bonnie Thomas?
Right.
Here's who Bonnie Thomas is. Bonnie Thomas is your next door neighbor.
Yeah.
Bonnie Thomas is you.
Yeah.
Bonnie Thomas is me. The obstacles, the challenges
Yes.
that she accepted are the same challenge we can accept.
Yes.
The mental strength, the mindset that was implemented, we can implement.
Yes.
Wow. SQR Rosenberg Podcast, Bonnie Thomas. This has been a beautiful, enlightening session here on this powwow. We're going to take a quick break, come back, and hit her with the last 2 questions that all my guests have. And I'm pretty sure she's going to hit a home run on this. SQR Podcast, Bonnie Thomas, transformational life. Get out the boat, walk on water. Bong. SQR Rosenberg Podcast, coming in with my guest Bonnie Thomas as we get ready to wrap up this enlightening powwow that we have had. And the reason why I say that is, and when I say average, it's not a demote your.
I understand.
But you're the everyday person.
Yes.
Who've experienced something tragic.
Right.
And said, you know what, I'm going to use this as a tipping point to change my life.
Right.
And then consistently stayed at it. Picked up a trainer, hit the park, change your diet, mentally learn that you have what it takes to motivate yourself, dealt with the downfalls, enjoy the spiritual journey, as you eloquently expressed, walked on water to get where you are right now.
Yes.
And the average human being is like, wow, I need to go subscribe to this or go do this. It's in you.
Yes.
So as we get ready to close, and I want to let's lift this very chilled Heineken bottle and toast to the accomplishment from 225 to
157.
157. We're going to take a toast to that. Wow, that was refreshing. And that's a refreshing accomplishment.
Yes, it is.
Because if you held up 68 pounds of shit in a bag, it's freaking heavy.
Yes. So that's what basically I was walking around on my body with 68 pounds.
Wow. Now the 68 pounds is off. Let's talk about that journey. What it's been like. You showed us some photos of a modeling thing that came up recently, which we're going to throw up on the podcast so people can see that. What was that? You were now a model in a fashion show?
Yes. I was never asked to be a model before when I was heavier. And then out of the blue, someone asked me to model. And I was very nervous. I'd never done it before. People was like come on, you're telling me a lie. You look so calm out there. You were, and you put the clothes together good, like I said. No, I just love fashion. I love shoes. I love clothes. I love accessories. People tell me I'm in the wrong career. I should be a stylist because that's how I am when it comes to clothes. When I step out the door, I have to be right from head to toe. I
Salute
just love
that.
fashion.
Yeah, I salute that.
And that's how I was brought up. My mother was the same way. You never went out the house with any rollers in your hair or a comb in your hair, or your hair had to be done.
Do you see the way some of these women are schlepping around town right now?
Never go outside
What about
with
pajamas?
Pants? No. I don't even wear sweatpants. Okay, I think I got maybe 3 pair, and I'm not shy to say this.
Yeah.
I'm 46. I'll be 47 next month.
Bong.
I only owe 3 sweatpants?
Yeah.
Because my mother always said, you don't go out like that. You never know what's gonna happen. You never know if you may get hit and you gotta go to the hospital.
Yeah, my mom always told me the same thing with my underwear.
Make sure you have clean underwear and everything on. But she's always told us to be presentable.
Yeah, I know. My
out.
mom gives me the same speech, so that's why I wear no underwear. For Rosenberg, going commando here. I'm being 100% straight up with you, son. So as we get ready to jump into this, you're now in this new body.
Yes.
Well-earned body.
Yes, well-earned.
You're modeling in this fashion show.
Yes.
Let me go granular here.
Uh-oh.
What was that like when you walked out? The first scene, because you showed us photos, which we're gonna put on our SoundCloud. On our YouTube channel, so you can see the shots. But what was it like walking out in the first outfit of that evening?
I was petrified. I was so nervous.
Knees knocking and everything.
I was just like, knees wasn't knocking. It was just that was my first experience. But once I got out there, like tonight I was nervous, but once I got out there, I just started feeling the vibe and just went with it. And people thought that I modeled before.
Yeah, like a natural.
Natural, because some of the people thought the clothes belonged to one of the fashion designers.
But they were your stuff.
They were all my clothes. My
Wow.
clothes from the head to toe, the accessories, the clothes, the shoes, everything was mine.
We're gonna show you all that new gear on that new body on our YouTube channel here, SQR Podcast. But as you know, what's so funny is I am enlightened by the fact that you definitely embraced that moment.
Yes, I did. I embraced it, and that's what you should do. You should embrace every moment, whether it's good or bad. Embrace it. Because that's a learning tool. That's another step in the steps to your life. Because every step in your life means something. Whether it's good, whether it's bad.
SQR Rosenberg Podcast. Are you guys catching these jewels? Every step in your life means something.
Yes.
Good or bad. So embrace it.
Good and bad. You have to embrace it. If you don't embrace it, it becomes a nuisance to you, and it'll always sit in your mind, in the back of your head, and you always hear that little voice at you all the time. So embrace it.
Let me ask you this. Now that you're at this weight and you've now settled in, are you worried about gaining the weight again? How are you managing not only that mentally but also physically? How are you managing it? I had someone ask me, they was watching me when I was shopping and how I was shopping, and she said to me, do you ever cheat? I said, cheat? Yes, I'll eat a cheeseburger from Burger King. I'll eat Chinese food. Yes, I cheat, but I don't do it all the time. That's what
I reward myself, because my thing is, if you keep telling yourself, no, I don't want that chocolate cake, no, you can't have it, your mind is going to keep playing and keep playing. Just fulfill it. Just satisfy that craving. Even if I take a little piece of it and eat it, I'm satisfied.
Yeah, and then get back on track.
And I still eat my little 6 meals a day, so my metabolism is burning. My job is physical. Even though I'm working in a school bus company, I still got to get up and go into the yard. I'm still walking around. Any kind of exercise help. If you park far away in the parking lot to walk to the shop, right, that's exercise.
Stay focused, ladies and gentlemen. Go
Every
in.
step
Yeah,
counts.
it's-
When you're walking around in the supermarket or walking around shopping, that's exercise. Because when you're shopping, you're bending, you're squatting because you're looking for. That's exercise.
And let me just tell
Take
you.
advantage of
Yeah,
it.
you know, so funny. I got to let you know that, I should be charging all my guests who come up these steps to come into the studio. Because that's a workout.
Yes, that is a workout. I have to say, if you're ever a guest on this podcast, please be prepared for the flight of steps.
Yeah, bring your oxygen tank. What was it like coming up the steps?
It was physically exercising. I tell you, it was like almost like what they do in New York City with the fireman test or whatever they do that's running up the steps in the
You
building.
felt the burn.
Yes, I felt the burn. I mean, it's hard coming up, but it's going to be easy going down.
What was it like when you came in the studio?
When I walked in the studio, I was at awe because I was like, wow. But I was out of breath. I was out of breath. I have to say, I was out of breath.
I appreciate the detail.
But I was like, wow, in awe because the place is like vintage to me. And I love vintage stuff.
We create this environment, and I got to give a big shout out to Manny, the main catalyst for the set. But we created this environment, and we try to harvest that environment to create this type of conversation.
And it's very soothing and comfort. It's comfortable.
Because that's what we want to do here.
Right.
Over a couple Heinekens, maybe a pink rosé here or there is sprinkled in, but to have this delightful conversation where I've learned so much about you, Bonnie,
Yes.
and know that you are not only unique in what you've done, but everybody has that uniqueness they could tap into. As we get ready to close, there's a question I ask all my guests. And the question is this. I give you the magic wand, right? You have 2 things that you can change in this world.
2 things I can change in
With this
world.
magic wand.
With the magic.
What would be those 2 things?
The 2 things I would change in this world with a magic wand is the cancer.
Powerful.
The cancer that has taken your loved ones,
That's powerful.
people that are very close to you, just taking life, period. The cancer, I would, if I could wave a magic wand, I would take that away. Because I went to Bible study last night, and the Reverend made a very good point. God didn't have cancer. God didn't have diabetes. God didn't have a lot of these diseases that we have. Why do we have it now?
Lack of control, lack of discipline we've implemented or not implemented in our lives.
Right. So if I could, that'd be one of the things I would change.
Number 2.
Number 2, our children, our youth. We have gone away from paying attention to our youth. There's no more after school programs. There's no more summer camps that, we used to go on.
Especially in the urban communities.
Yes, in the urban community.
Especially in the urban communities, and those are instrumental, actually.
Right, like the Boys and Girls Club and, all the things that we had and back then to keep our youth grounded and on that straight path. A lot of our youth need that. Some of them are doing the things that they're doing just because they don't get the attention at home.
Wow.
And the only reason why I'm saying that is because I used to be a bus aide and I used to be a bus driver.
So you spent a lot of time.
So you interact with the kids and you see their behavior. And one kid was on the bus that I was driving and every word out of his mouth was cursing. So I asked him, I said, do you speak like that around your mother? Around your family? He was like, yeah. So I looked at him through the mirror, and then he seen me looking at him. I was like, come on now. He was like, no. But, all they want is that little attention.
Yeah.
And from the whole bus ride, he sat and he talked to me, and I talked to him. And that was it. And they just want that attention because they're not getting it at home.
True. I'm very honored to have not only heard your entire story, but moved by those changes you've implemented with that magic wand. And I gotta tell you, since we started this podcast, we have possibly talked to close to 100 people, and you are definitely in the top 5.
Oh well, thank you.
I appreciate the openness. especially when it comes to weight loss. You know, a lot of women are shy to touch on that subject. I don't want to tell you what I weigh. I don't want to show you what I look like. However, you've explained without any doubt.
Because I feel it's a blessing. God gave me a second chance to prove myself. SQR
Rosenberg Podcast. Bonnie Thomas is just murdering us with jewels right now, and she's so right about this.
He gave me that second chance, so it's a blessing.
We're going to close on that note. SQR Rosenberg Podcast, Bonnie Thomas, as we get ready to rock out. You can change your life. Listen to what we're talking about. Implement a fraction of what we've discussed, and you will receive a new body, a new mind, and a new relationship with God. SQR Rosenberg Podcast, Bonnie Thomas. Thank you so much for being here. Bong, bong, bong.
Bro, there's money to be made. I'm on the road to the riches. You in another lane. I'm all alone at the bar. Take a